Hello friends, Pam here. How are you doing? Today I wanted to talk about joy, and that might seem like an odd topic for what has actually been kind of a tragic day after from some recent tragedies in the States and also the anniversary of September 11th. But that's what I want to talk about. So I thought I would hang this here. It's been hanging in my kitchen for quite a long time, but I thought I'd hang it here. Maybe you can still see it. And it's just such a fun reminder of joy for me. So today is the day after a terrible tragedy with Charlie Kirk being shot and killed in the States. And even though I personally was not a big fan of his, maybe some years ago I would have said I was, it doesn't matter. What matters is how we treat others, and violence and death is just so awful. And I feel so badly for his family, for his young wife and little kids. It's just really mind-blowing and heartbreaking. So I want to remember him today, and also the Ukrainian refugee. I just wanted to make sure I got her name right. Iryna Zarutska, who was stabbed on a bus. And also the anniversary of September 11th. So 24 years ago, I was in my first real year of teaching. And I was teaching in a new city. We had recently moved provinces. I had a 2-year-old, and there was a lot of stress at that time when I think back to it. But it was a Tuesday, and it was actually my day off because I taught halftime grade 5 with another teacher. And so I was going in on Wednesday. So I remember that morning I was sitting on the floor in our living room, and because we had moved not too long before this, I remember our TV was, I'm pretty sure, sitting on the floor too. We didn't have a lot of furniture, and my little daughter was, sitting in her pajamas watching CBC Kids and some cute little show, and I was kind of coming in and out of the room, and suddenly everything changed, right? Suddenly, instead of these sweet, colorful children's shows, it was showing this horrific scene of the Twin Towers with a plane going through it, with everything on fire, with people's faces covered in ash and terror, people running in the streets with debris falling around them, firefighters bloody and running into the towers, coming out of the towers, then the news of the other flight and the crash. It was horrific. And I just remember, like so many people, being unable to tear myself away from watching it, from trying to figure out what I was actually seeing. Was it real? And so really stood out to me that contrast, right, with innocence and fun, children's shows, and then this horrific reality that was taking place, and so many lives lost. And so when I was teaching, especially as I taught social studies, and Bible and English, I always made a point in my classes on September 11th to tell the story, talk about it. And as the years have gone by and it's faded from memory, and the high school students now weren't alive at the time even, I think it's even more important to remember and try to place it in the context. And now it's in the history books. Now it's something that they can find in their social studies textbooks. And I remember at the time thinking one day, this is going to be in the textbooks. And so sometimes it was surreal teaching from that and realizing, like so many other, events, but this was such a major one, that I was there, that I witnessed it. And so I still want to continue to witness those things as it comes around every year. So yeah, it was before cell phones. And so that was good, because now we're in this constant barrage of news cycle. We can't get away from the images, from people's comments. But at the time, in 2001, there was still tons of news, on radio, on TV. And I remember coming in the next day and just in confusion and shock, but with this sense of responsibility that I needed to lead this class well and help these grade 5 students somehow process it and somehow have as normal of a day as we could. And yet it wasn't normal. So somehow we stumbled through that day, and I just remember talking about it a little bit, asking if anyone wanted to talk about it, offering to talk with students anytime during the day if they felt that they wanted to talk about it or had something to share or just weren't feeling well. But then also, there's this grammar lesson, right? And sometimes having that sense of normalcy and just going on with the day can help us somehow cope with major tragedies. I wrote this down this morning. Death and tragedy are always present, but I'm reminded why we react so strongly. This isn't what we were made for. Creation groans. So Romans 8:22 talks about how the whole of the world, all of creation, suffers and longs for redemption from the effects of sin. So back to my little disco ball here and the idea of joy. How do we go on in the face of terrible tragedies like this? Like what happened yesterday and what happened on September 11th. And I think one of the answers for me is joy. Because joy still exists, even in times of intense worry and stress like I've been going through. Joy is still present. And I find that so, encouraging, because joy can beat back the darkness, right? It can give meaning to every day. And so even as I have so much worry right now, as I shared last time about my son and my daughter going into the world in different ways and their present and their future, I have so much joy just in their existence and thinking about them and having memories with them and talking to them on the phone. And so that joy really keeps me going and is central. And my hope for them, my hope for my kids, really is that they will also experience joy and have meaning and purpose, because I think all those three things are kind of tied up together. Our hope goes beyond this world as Christians. And even though sometimes I actually have a hard time really believing that, if I'm honest, I know through the testimony of Scripture, through others, and my own heart, just trusting that that is true. And so if your hope and your joy goes beyond this world, then I think that is also really sustaining and can help make sense of death and destruction and terrible tragedies. So today, I just wanted to remember joy and find a moment of joy, maybe in the sunshine that's still out there here in September, and beautiful green trees, warm days, and just thinking of our loved ones and holding them close. And so today I want to just wish you joy in your day, even if it's a hard day, a stressful day, even if you have many worries just pressing in on you. I pray that you will have a sense of meaning and joy today. So thanks for watching. I hope that you're doing well, and yeah, don't forget to hit the like on your way out if you want to. All right, I'll see you again really soon. Bye.